and welcome to another edition of OnSide SA, where we're going to tell you what's been happening with last one standing. It's down to 4 in the one group and a bit of a dent in the new one that started. But very interesting.
Yeah, Paul, Saturday, a lot of guys a little bit unlucky. Palace went out, the 5 guys, scored the goal, a handball, had a few chances and tossed it away. And Everton were never in the game. And Wolves, I thought a little bit harsh, Paul. I thought a couple of penalty, well, the one penalty, but the red card for me was the worst decision of the weekend.
2 went through in West Ham.
Yeah.
1 on Aston Villa, 2, and 1 in Fulham. So well done. The guys that went out, Crystal Palace, Everton and Wolves, as you say. 4 remaining entrants. Sky Shabalala, the DJ, what's he got to say for himself?
Oh, confident, Paul. He's got a plan. Yeah, Messi got a 2-week plan.
That's the end of him. That's the end of him with a plan. Sean Matthew, a name that's always involved.
Yeah, former champ.
Kevin Rice, my mate, nice to see. And Ashley Rushton from America, that's fantastic. Ash, top man, and he's gotten the last 4. And well, I don't know what they've got chances to pick. Have any of them got any big sides, any top 6 sides? No, it's all scrambled now.
Scrambled now, Paul, but a couple of picks, especially with the fixtures this week. But only one's come through, but I won't let anybody know what that is. But
I got a special mention sheet here. Cindy Riddell, she won the ladies.
Yeah, Paul, these are the 7 entrants that went out. They got to round 13, Paul, so...
Okay, Cindy Riddell, Mark Rogers, Mark Fullion, Lawrence Werners, Neil Horsman, Brett Galley, and Bruce Armstrong. Some of the guys who always
they would have
fire.
won the competition, bar, this one and the one previous one that went to 13. But they would have all won the competition and the other previous 20.
The new one now, but the new one got rolling. People have been crying for it, and a few people have gone missing. It started 7:22. It's down to 4:68 already.
Yeah.
Sure, whoa. And there were some calls here that could have gone against them. I'm just looking at these scores.
West Ham.
Yeah.
Arsenal. Even Brighton were lucky. Forest off the red card.
Yeah.
Forest came back and nearly got a point.
You think of the losers, Budge, in this round. Crystal Palace, Man City, Tottenham, all of them led.
Yeah.
All of them led. Wolves, I don't know if they led.
No.
Wolves. Chelsea.
No.
Everton never led. Sheffield United. Notts Forest led. 1-0 up.
Yeah.
Brentford and Burnley. Burnley led as well.
Yeah. Paul, you won't believe this, but there's one club. It's the most teams you ever had selected in any round of our competition. There were 19 teams that were selected this round. Wow. One team that wasn't. I'll give you 10 seconds. 5 were on Luton.
A team that wasn't selected.
I'll give you a clue. I'll back them to win the league, and I hope they don't.
Liverpool?
Yeah, because they played Man City.
Of course.
19 selects. That's how tough it was, Paul. It was really...
The best pick, I say, 5 on Luton
5
Town.
on Luton.
Melissa Borenser, Robert Guit.
Robert Guit, one of my Mansfield guys.
Mark Tuttle, Ian Hall, and Denver for Mark. 1 on Aston Villa. Andrew from Boston.
I thought I'd put that in, improve your mood,
I'm going to wait and I'll see him. Andre van Bussen. Well done, Andre. 2. Entrants, you pick 4 different winners. Gary Citron without the E.
Yeah.
Michael Knowles.
Yeah, it's Grant's son.
Okay, well done to him. Chris Harito, Mark Tuttle, and Mark Fullion. Well done, Mark. He always gets into the scrum.
He's unlucky. Paul
He knows what he's doing.
He's
a lucky guy.
Yeah.
Girls, tell me about the females.
Yeah, Paul, I'll read them out. There's 45 ladies that entered, Paul,
fantastic.
And they love it. A lot of them I talked to.
Ray Lovett.
Yeah, Ray did a good job rounding up his crew. But I'll mention the 45 ladies, so please bear with me. Narissa Camden, Kim West, Sam Cooper Bull, Carla Quintus, Dora Roussos, Raquel Quintus, Milan Lavo, Colleen Singh, Anne Silla Jackson, Renee Roos, Tracy Nell, Starlene Hoosen, Georgia Harita, Linda Potts, Bianca Coote, Yvonne Barenser, Lisha Kakana, Melissa Barenser, Janice Lafferty, Holly Lafferty, your mate the Feather Duster, Laura Delcho, Anne Herbert Lafferty, Ashley Berger, Carol Whitehead, Kelly Potts, Jasmine Conway, Cindy Radell, Philly and Glovu from Hollywood, Eva Micklewood, Catherine Armstrong, Nina Micklewood, Pauline Young, Tennille and Montana Verners, Julie Usher, Fiona and Emma Trastman, Nicola Grove, Jackie Cullen, Abby Lloyd, Hardy Lamson, Jocelyn and Kerry Everett, and Sue and Blair Miller. Ladies, thank you. Just a reminder to everybody, there is a midweek round. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there are games. So next weekend, obviously Saturday,
you got to get
Sunday,
get
but
it out there.
there looks a couple of good things this week. So guys, please, there is a midweek round. Get ready.
Stevie B, is he in town?
Yep, I'm sure he is after a confident Monday night victory. Good morning, Steve.
Yeah, good morning. Confidence, I'm not sure about that, but VAR for once was our friend.
Yeah, you're right.
3 penalties in the game.
Yeah, I think, Steve, of the penalties, the first one of the 3 was I don't know how it works this year, because a guy did touch the ball, he followed through and caught him. But a bit like the Spurs-Chelsea game, the guy got the ball and followed through with the tackle, and I'm stunned with VAR. Yeah. But great 3 points for you, Steve.
At the end of the day, for us, it was all about the results, and a very welcome 3 points.
Yeah. The red card, Steve, what's come out? Because he definitely does head. It's not a major head, but he definitely gives him one.
For whatever reason, in recent weeks when he's played, this is about the 2nd or 3rd time he's got involved like that, and been very lucky not to be red carded. The fans are not a big, he's not that popular, and I think a lot of fans are hoping that they might send him out on loan in Jan. Yeah. Because we desperately need a better number 9, having lost Mitrovic. So I think we were lucky that he didn't. It was a stupid thing to do, and could have cost us.
Yeah, Steve, what nationality is he?
Brazilian.
Oh, it's Carlos? It's Carlos Vinicius?
Vinicius. He was at Tottenham.
Yeah, Spurs.
For not very long.
So he lost the plot at Spurs, and you guys picked him up.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Steve, talking about bad decisions, now this is what amazes me. It happened to United last year in the Europa League against Real Sociedad. In England, if the ball gets deflected off a part of your body and hits your hand, it's not a penalty.
No,
that Newcastle penalty was disgraceful.
Against him.
Yeah. It was almost like they were desperate to try and give it. And he's an experienced referee as well, top referee. So very disappointing. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they rode their luck, Newcastle. They're under extreme pressure. I mean, with the injuries they've got, he couldn't really bring players on. So, but the fact that it got to sort of the 98th minute, you were sort of hoping that they would just hold out. Now, they still have an opportunity to go through, but it's sort of out of their hands now.
They're not going through, Steve. I watched the Man City-Leipzig game. That was a cracker. 2-0 down City. Jack Grealish is under pressure, Steve. I don't think he's going to start too often from now on.
How does he play?
Well, it seems like Doku is his go-to player on that side. Yeah. He just seems a little bit more, he just seems to be a player that makes it happen. He's not afraid to take players on and gets past them. So, I think, but having said that, 100 million is a lot to pay for a player and not playing regularly. But, obviously City are in competitions. He can rotate, but looks like Doku has got the nod at the moment.
Yeah, Doku, nice, great signing of the season for me.
Where did he come from?
Well, no, he's Belgium. He came from somewhere in France. Was it Lyon, Steve, or one of the? It's definitely a French team. Was it Rennes?
I think it was Rennes. Yeah.
Okay. No, he's running through a few players. That's for sure. Steve, Arsenal 6-0. They scored 4 in the first half and cruised.
I mean, it was 5-0 at half time.
Oh,
it was very comfortable. They took their foot off the gas a little bit in the second half, but it's the first time an English team has led 5-0 in the first half of any Champions League game. A bit of a useless stat there, but no, it's very straightforward. They only needed a point to win the group, so they can ease off. He can rotate in the last game without any problem now.
Yeah, no, done a good job. And last but definitely not least, Steve, Man United 3, Onana 3.
Well, I mean, I think this is the problem. This is, if you think that they let a 2-goal lead slip in Copenhagen, they've let a 2-goal lead slip twice in Istanbul, and ultimately I think that will cost them. They should have won that game last night. At 3-1 they should have closed it down, but Onana is positioning for the first goal, and his error for the second was just shocking. For a player who they paid almost 50 million for, that was just nowhere near good enough.
Paul, what did you think?
You know, I enjoyed the game because
end
to end. I thought Bruno Fernandes played well. I thought Maguire was solid. The keeper was rubbish, even though he had to make a couple of saves. But I was impressed with the other team going forward too. They can't defend that well.
Mertens and
Mertens and Saka, and what's his name?
The Italian boy up front's a decent goal scorer.
The boy from Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
They got some good players, even the little blonde, prox-sided boy, a lot of skill. So I was impressed with that, but I thought the game should have been tied up.
Yeah. It's frustrating to watch. I know my mates were there. I haven't heard from them this morning. I'm sure they'll be still drinking, and you're right. But I just think, Steve, it's time United have a clear out. There's too many players there, shouldn't be there. And I think the manager's under severe pressure.
But I thought the Brazilian who does, he's there.
Anthony is the best I've seen him play.
Anthony played well, yeah. He was going past players inside out. His passing was good. Yeah. What about Europa?
Europa League tonight, Steve. Brighton have got a tough game.
They have, but obviously if they get it, they're in a good position. But they lost obviously to AEK in that opening game. But I think if they avoid defeat and with the home game to come, they're in a decent position. So it's in their own hands. They know what they need to do. They've got a few injuries still, but I think he'll play a strong team tonight.
Liverpool, surely, whatever side they play, have got to beat last glance.
Yes, I think so. I think they'll win comfortably. Again, I think Klopp will rotate a little bit, but they'll win. I should think they'll win comfortably.
Yeah, and West Ham surely too good for Baka Topola, and they crunch them.
They should be. I mean, they beat them in the first game. They're in pole position. A win tonight means that they can take their foot off and rotate in the last game.
Yeah, and Aston Villa surely got to beat Legia Warsaw at home. I know they got beat away, but surely at home they should be too good.
Yeah, I think if he plays a strong team, as I think that he will, they obviously want to keep this home record going. I think they'll win that, and then they'll be qualified, and again, take their foot off the gas and rotate for the last game.
Yeah. Anyway, on to the weekend, and what I find strange, Steve, is after the international break, we had a lunchtime kickoff in the UK, and this weekend we haven't got an early kickoff in the UK, especially in the Premiership. Doesn't make sense.
All late games Saturday.
A lot of it is determined by the TV. Okay. So it's all about whether or not they're going to show a TV game on the Saturday lunchtime.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, not the best of games, but they could have put Newcastle United at lunchtime, but I'm sure a later game. But anyway, we'll pull the betting up, and Arsenal at home to Wolves. Steve, you watch Wolves on Monday night.
Yeah, they're a tidy team, Wolves, but you would think the way that Arsenal are playing, and obviously in pole position at the moment, I think that I'd expect them to win. I think that, and in fact, I'd expect them to win by at least two, maybe three. Yeah,
I totally agree. Arsenal win over 2.5 goals, 15-10. Arsenal to score 3 goals, 12-10. Just watching them, they look good going forward, but in defence, they were woeful. Wolves. Yeah. So plenty of goals. This could be a 4-5 job, Steve. That's what I think.
Wolves can score.
Yeah, Wolves can score. Yeah, that's why I win Arsenal to win over 2.5 goals, 15-10. Brentford Luton, Steve. I've got a funny feeling this is a banana skin. What do you think?
At home, Brentford.
Well, Brentford obviously had a bit of a hiccup, but they won 3 in a row. Luton are showing a little bit of fight. I think that's the one thing I think we expected from them, is that they'll make up with effort because they haven't quite got the quality of a lot of other teams. I still think Brentford will be favourites. They've got a few injuries, but I still think Brentford will be favourites.
The reason I think there could be a banana skin, Steve, is Brentford play the good teams. Yeah, they'll play and the top teams try and play. Whereas when they play like the Evertons and the lesser teams, they play more Route 1 football like they do. And it tends to be ping pong. Sure, they are total favourites on Luton. But in fairness to Luton, while they did get lucky against Palace, they drew with Liverpool, they fought hard against United. And I slowly think they're getting the grips with the league. I think this is a lot tougher than people expect. Now, the big game of the weekend on Saturday, relegation battle, Steve. Burnley, Sheffield United. How do you see it?
Yeah. I mean, the two weakest teams by far. Burnley have set a record of 7 home defeats in a row.
Yeah.
But the sounds of it, and from the highlights I saw, they were a little bit unlucky that they were leading right till the end.
Yeah.
I think that if there was to be a winner, I fancy Burnley. I just think that Sheffield United just conceded so many goals that they were porous last week in defending against Bournemouth. I just fancy if Burnley get ahead, I think that they'll hang on to it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. My only concern, and Paul, you'll remember this, last year they played in the Championship, and Sheffield United beat them 5-2. It was a lunchtime kickoff. Burnley were woeful from set pieces, and if ever Sheffield United do have a strength, it is from set pieces. So I think there could be a few goals here, Steve. Everybody doesn't think so, but I think there's going to be goals because both teams have got to go for it. Because a draw, the draw doesn't suit either of them. But I agree, of the two teams, of what I've seen lately, it should be Burnley. Steve, I've got a strong fancy in the Notts Forest-Everton game. Which way do you see it going?
Yeah, I think that, Everton were fired up last weekend after being there, but obviously got caught out with that amazing early goal. And after that, they played well, but 3-0 sort of flattered United in the end. I think that they'll go to Forest and they'll give them a good game. I think that Forest obviously had disappointed losing at home to Brighton, but I've got a feeling Everton might get something there.
I think again more than something, Steve. It's my value bet of the weekend. I already backed them. Yeah, when you bet the United game, they came out fired up, but they won the goal after 3 minutes. That was a major, pop, burst the balloon. And I thought they played well. It's just they just didn't score. And if they'd gone 1-1, I think they could have gone on and won it. And then United got the penalty and things went pear-shaped. But I fancy Everton. I wasn't impressed with Forest against Brighton. It was 3-1, one-way traffic, and then the centre-half gets sent off. And then they could have got a point. I think this manager's under pressure at Notts Forest, Steve, and I don't fancy them. I think Everton will go there and roll them. That's my prediction in that particular game. And if you are worried, Everton to score over 1.5 goal is 16-10.
When did they last score over 1.5?
The week before, Everton. Away from home, they score plenty. It's at home that they struggle,
but,
Everton.
Forest's a good side at home.
Yeah, Forest at home.
They've only lost 1 of 5 at home.
Yeah, but that was Brighton.
Interesting game.
But I fancy Everton all day. Next game, Steve, Newcastle, Man United. How do you see it?
Well, I think this is going to be, I was slightly surprised that Newcastle won as easily as they did in the end against Chelsea, bearing in mind injuries. They've had a huge effort in Paris with limited players. United, I thought, played well last night. I think this is going to be a closer game.
Yeah.
If Newcastle were at full strength, I would have fancied them to win. But I just got a feeling that United could get something there, only because Newcastle just haven't got the players. They've got to keep playing the same players because of injuries. Yeah. And I just wonder if United would be smarting, having sort of thrown away the lead last night. I think this could be a really entertaining game, and I think there'll be goals. But I wouldn't be surprised if United could hold them.
Yeah, I was with you, Steve. Early on in the week, I was all over Newcastle. But just watching them against PSG, I had a look at the bench. There's hardly anything on the bench. And he played his main team for a long time. And they chase shadows for most of the game. If they aren't tired, I don't know. Yeah, United have players and they have rotated. And United have a more fitter squad, should I say. And I don't see United getting beat here. The only problem is we've got a goalkeeper. Every time there's a ball in the box, he looks like conceding. But there are definitely goals in this, Steve, but I would not be taking even money Newcastle United, that's for sure. Anyway, on to our second page of fixtures, and the first game's interesting, Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. How do you see it?
Yeah, Bournemouth had a very good result last week. I know it was at Sheffield United, but they look comfortable. Villa are playing some lovely football, and obviously that was a big win at Spurs. I fancy Villa, although they are playing obviously tonight, but I still fancy Villa to be favourites of the two.
Yeah, the only thing is this at the back. Spurs should have had 4 or 5 in the first 20 minutes. Hit the post, but once they brought Tielemans on, they started playing. And in fairness to Spurs, once Ben Tenkour went off, there's the slick football, the passing.
We dominated that game, sure. Had all the possession, had all the balls, most chances.
Yeah.
Villa should never have won. Maybe a draw at best, they should never have won.
Yeah, but I can see them getting a result. You won't believe my bet last week, Paul. What? I backed Son to score any time. 3 disallowed goals. Yeah. I nearly puked. But anyway, that's how it goes. I fancy Villa, Steve. You know what it's going for a team? the confidence, and I think they aren't too bad at the back. I like the goalkeeper, and I fancy even money Villa. I think there'll be goals in this, but Aston Villa for me, even money's in our. Well, I've got to make a prediction. That's who I fancy. Steve, 7-10 Chelsea against Brighton. I think the betting's way out here. What do you think, though?
Yeah, I mean, Brighton obviously have got injuries. They play again tonight. I think Chelsea probably will be favourites. I think that Pochettino was furious with the effort they put in the second half at Newcastle. Before that, they'd scored 4 goals a couple of times. Yeah. I think that Chelsea will start favourites, mainly because Brighton have got injuries and they've got a big game tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Really disappointed in Chelsea. They had the chance, but as we mentioned, their 2 midfield players, Fernandes and Cachedas, just come back from South America. They look leggy, but Newcastle, the goals that they got given, but 4-1s are hiding. I just don't trust them at the back, Steve. I know the Brazilian's been a great player, but the goal he let Joelinton score was a joke. James is missing. They just don't score as many goals as they should. But there again, Brighton, I think there's goals all over this, Steve, but I wouldn't be taking 7-10 Chelsea. I'd be taking the draw. Liverpool, Fulham, Steve, can you sneak a point?
I would be very surprised if we do, especially at Anfield. I think Liverpool scoring goals for fun at home. Our defence, we've still got 1 or 2 key players out. Obviously Polina is back after being suspended. Yeah. But, I think our problem is when we create, we might create the odd chance, but we're just not clinical enough. Yeah. So unless VAR are kind to us and we get a couple of penalties, I can't see anything other than a comfortable home win.
Yeah, got to agree. Liverpool to score 3 goals is like 9-10, but I just don't see it, Steve. I think you got the great 3 points on Monday. Don't see anything at Anfield. When saying that, Liverpool have won all 6 at home, so this should be number 7. West Ham, Crystal Palace, Steve. This will be a tight game.
Yeah, I think it will. I think this will be a very close game. I think West Ham will start as favourites. Obviously, they are playing tonight, but they haven't got that many injuries, and I think that he'll rotate a little bit. Yeah. But I think West Ham will start as favourites.
Yeah, I think this will be a good game. I think there'll be goals in this game. Over 2.5 goals, 9-10. I think there'll be a spicy London derby. And last but not least, Paul, with all your injury crisis, can you cause City a few problems?
Funny enough, over the last few years, we've created a lot of problems against them. They have drawn one at home, Man City. As Steve said, I think I'm in the same as he thinks with Fulham. I'm the same with Spurs. We get a point, I'll be very happy. We're still playing very attractive football, which I love. And if we get beat, we get beat. But we play and we attack, and it's good to watch. And even the bad players who struggled under the last few coaches are looking better going forward. So we need a lot of luck. And I do feel Man City are the champs. If we get a draw, we'll be happy, but it looks like Man City.
Yeah, I just wonder if he's going to play the high line. If you play the high line with their forwards, you're going to get skinned. Yeah, Man City to win over 3.5 goals, or Man City to win and both teams to score. Yes, that's another bet worth looking at. But definitely goals at the Etihad on Saturday. On to the championship, Steve, and it kicks off on Friday where my boys Preston hosting an improved QPR. How do you see it going?
Yeah, I mean, obviously disappointing result for Preston the other night, well beaten at Borough, and QPR were 2-1 down against 10 men, but came back with a couple of late goals to win 4-2. I think Preston will probably start as favourites just because their home record is reasonable. And QPR, don't travel well, but I think QPR obviously with that win probably found a little bit of confidence. But I've just got a feeling Preston should just start as favourites.
Yeah, just speaking to my guys that are at the game, they were really disappointed in the Cardiff because it was one-way traffic, and then the guy got sent off and we got beat 2-1. Middlesbrough, the guy said they couldn't believe the flat performance, but Middlesbrough in form, scoring goals. I think this is a great chance for us to rebound, Steve. I'm not impressed with QPR. I've watched them a couple of times, but I know the new manager, and they did beat Stoke, even though Stoke did have a player sent off. I fancy my boys Preston, but if you're worried, back us to score over 1.5 goals at the same price. Big game in the championship, Steve. 2 really good teams. West Brom, Leicester. West Brom, you called it last week. They did beat second place Ipswich. Can they beat the tabletoppers Leicester City?
I think they've certainly given them a good game. I mean, Leicester have had a bit of a wobble. I mean, they gave away points last night at Sheffield Wednesday. West Brom are just climbing steadily up that table, and I think that there's value in that. But I'm not sure I'll back them again this week. But I think that if there was to be a winner, I would fancy West Brom.
Yeah, just Leicester, terrible result. Conceded late at Sheffield Wednesday. They're not as clinical as they used to be, Steve. They were punishing teams 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Now it's 1s and 2s. But this is an early game, so I'll be watching it. Wayne Rooney's team back to reality after winning last week. They got well beat at Blackburn last night. Surely they've got to beat Rotherham at home?
You would think so. I mean, Rotherham were well beaten the other night at Hull, were 4 down, in no time at all. I fancy Birmingham to do it. I mean, they got beaten last night, as we know, but I think at home, I think they'll be too strong. So it should be another home win for Birmingham.
Yeah, got to agree. Hull City versus your brother's team, Watford. They're having a good run, Watford. Steve, can they cause Hull City a few problems?
I think they can, although Hull had a very good win themselves. As we said, they sort of thrashed Rotherham. Yeah. But Watford did well, 2 down after about 12 minutes, and to come back and dominate and beat an improving Norwich side. Yeah. I think this will be a close game. Hull don't lose many; they draw a lot. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Watford gets something there. Yeah, 1 loss in the last 7, and that was at Leicester on Saturday. So this is a tight game. Our next game, Steve, Ipswich Coventry. Is that a local derby, or are they near each other? No. They're not really near each other. Ipswich right out in the Suffolk coast, in the east, pretty much, and Coventry in the Midlands. Okay. So I fancy Ipswich are just carrying on this run. I mean, they really are. At a good half-fought win last night, but I think they'll be favourites again. Yeah, I've got to fancy them 7-10. Just so you go for them and they get beat. I went for them against Leeds. They got beat. I fancied them at West Brom and they didn't score. It cost me money. But anyway, the next game should be a good game, Steve. 2 informed teams in the Championship: Leeds United and Middlesbrough. Yeah, very much so. Both informed Leeds. Certainly, they're just starting to close that gap of the teams above them. They had a good win last night against Swansea. I think of the two, you'd fancy Leeds, but Borough are playing well. I think this is going to be a very entertaining game. I think we've got this game on ESPN, so if I don't watch it, I'll be taping it. Next game, we've got Millwall Sunderland. Sunderland, bad result last night, Steve. Can they rebound? Yeah, I mean, they've lost a couple now, Sunderland. Millwall, again, themselves have had a couple of poor results, beaten at home last week, surprisingly. I think there'll be goals in this. I think it's a tricky one to call. Because Sunderland are up and down, the same as Millwall. Probably end up cancelling each other out. Both teams are probably a little bit disappointing their form at the moment, though. Yeah. I think this has got score draw written all over it, 1-1 or 2-2. Plymouth Argyle, Steve, good result last week. They beat Middlesbrough. Can they get another home victory against Stoke? I think so. I think that they're a hard team to beat at home, and I quite like the look of this one. I fancy Stoke. Obviously disappointed, the bad defeat at QPR. Obviously having a player sent off and then collapsing at the end. But I fancy Plymouth to win that. Okay, on to our final page on the Championship, and we've got Sheffield Wednesday, who escaped at home with a great result against Leicester City. Can they get another result against Blackburn? They can do, but Blackburn are scoring goals and had a good win last night. Blackburn, as we know, it's either win or lose with them. I think they've only drawn 1 all season. I think, despite that, getting a good point last night, I'd fancy Blackburn to go there and win that. Yeah, watch them against Preston. They got beat, but they shouldn't have won. Scored goals every time they play. 14-10 is a great price, but if you're worried, take over 1.5 goals at 13-10. Steve, Southampton on a roll, 7 wins, 3 draws in the last 10. A good mate of the show, Gary Green, Decoy Doug as we call him. All of a sudden, he's got a spring in his step.
Got his voice back.
Voice back as well. Cardiff, they score goals, but surely you've got to fancy Southampton. Yeah, I think so. I think Southampton at home should be too strong. Cardiff lost during the week to West Brom. I fancy Southampton to carry on their run and keep that run up the table going. Yeah, Leeds, Southampton, the boys that went down, slowly climbing the table. Swansea, Huddersfield Town, Steve. Huddersfield, great result last night. Swansea at home used to be a good thing. 9-10 a bit short, Steve, or do you think they'll be too good? Well, no, probably based on the sort of recent results, it might be a little short. I mean, Huddersfield haven't been playing well recently. Yeah. That was a big result for them. Swansea, not surprised that they lost last night. A little bit disappointed with some of their results recently, but I think they might just be too strong for Huddersfield at home.
Yeah, it's a hard team to trust, so go the goals route. And last but not least, Sunday, Bristol City, Norwich City. Steve, Bristol City have slowly turned it around after our man Nigel Worthington got fired. Can you see them getting another result?
Yeah, I think it'll be a close game. I mean, Norwich, disappointing, I think, during the week, having sort of got that early lead at Watford and then sort of losing it sort of right at the end. I think that they could hold Bristol, though. Bristol are very, you're not quite sure what you're going to get from them. Very much at the moment they're both looking like mid-table teams. Norwich can't seem to put a real run together. I think they could cancel each other out. I'm not sure that Bristol will beat Norwich, though.
I think it'd be goals in that particular game. Steve, pressure time as always. I need your best bet and value bet, please.
I'm going to go for Blackburn. I think that I like the way they attack teams, and I think that there's good odds there. My value bet, I'm going to go for Plymouth. I think at home they're quite strong, and I think that after the home win last week, I think that they could go and do that again this week.
Yeah, Steve, I hummed and hard which way to go. The teams that I like are like 6, 7 at 10. So I'm chancing Aston Villa at even money. I think it's a great price. It'll be a difficult game. But things are rolling for them. They got lucky last week. And I think they'll have a bit of luck. While Everton, I fancy Everton big time, 17-10. Steve, remember it's last one standing. Well done for getting to round 2.
Who did you pick, Steve? Who did you have?
Arsenal sailed through.
88 minutes.
88 minutes.
Did you say there's last one standing this weekend and during the week as well?
Yep.
So 2 this week.
Straightforward this week, Steve, for a man of your caliber.
Straightforward.
All right, Steve, thanks again. Hey,
Have
speak to you soon.
Cheers.
All the best.
All the best,
Bye.
Stevie. Bye.
Bye.
Let's talk local.
Yeah.
I can't believe Sundowns won again. They beat Supersport.
They've played 8 games. Yeah, they were 12-10 to win last night. Because of the United game, I actually missed it. But comfortable victory. Gavin made several changes.
And then Stellenbosch went to Cape Town Spurs.
Well, the local derby, Paul,
Yeah,
but
3-0.
3-0, yeah. Can you do? Cape Town Spurs at Ernst Biddendorf's taken over. 3-0. Steve's team's playing well, Paul. They beat AmaZulu 1-0 in Durban.
Yeah,
He's
did
going well,
coach.
Steve.
Yeah. Right, let's talk about the semi-finals, Budge. Carling
both in
Cup.
Durban. Yeah.
Both in Durban, that's great. So the one is on Saturday at
That's
3.
Richard, that's Stellenbosch against Richards Bay. A tight game, Paul. You know what happens in the league? Teams go for it. Now the cup comes, they tighten up. It wouldn't surprise me if both of these games go to extra time.
We're the big guns. All out.
Yeah, AmaZulu stuck at Chiefs. TS Galaxy beat Sundowns on penalties.
So AmaZulu at home to TS Galaxy, Richards Bay at home Stellenbosch.
I
How do you see it,
AmaZulu
Budge?
Stellenbosch, Paul. Having a bet is tricky. It'll be under 2.5 goals. They're both like 5, 6 to 10. Because in the cup games, unless there's an early goal, let's not give anything away, and they make defensive changes. But Stellenbosch, AmaZulu would be my suggestion for the final, Paul.
Right, Budge, give us your selections.
Yeah, Paul. Saturday, score 6, Paul. I'll bring it up now. I bank at Arsenal to beat Wolves. I've gone the field in the Brentford-Luton game looking for the upset. I'm chancing Burnley to beat Sheffield United. I've thrown the draw in with Leeds United and Middlesbrough. I don't see Everton losing at Notts Forest. And originally I fancied Newcastle to beat United, but after the injury crisis there, and I'm worried about Newcastle. I've gone the field in that particular game, 2-1-6. On to other soccer 6 for Saturday. I'm going Mamelodi Sundowns win and draw at TP Mzembe. I'm going Stellenbosch win and draw against Richards Bay. Hull City win and draw at home against Watford. Chancing Burnley again to beat Sheffield United. Al Ahly of Egypt win and draw at Young Africans. And ASIC Mimosa win and draw at home against Wydad Casablanca.
They make it tough
192. Paul, these are Africa Cup, the Champions League in Africa. So, that's a Paul.
They make it tough because they throw in a Burnley and a Hull City game and a Richards Bay. Yeah. Okay, the next one.
Anyway, on to the score 10 for GC Paul. I've gone the field in the West Brom Leicester City game. I've banked Arsenal to beat Wolves. Brentford win and draw against Luton. Burnley win and draw against Sheffield United. I've banked Ipswich Town to beat Coventry. Onto the second page, I've got Leeds United win and draw against Middlesbrough. Sunderland to avoid defeat at Millwall. 2 bankers, Southampton to beat Cardiff and Everton to beat Notts Forest. And I've gone the field in the Newcastle Man United match, 288. Onto the score Soccer 13 for the weekend. I've gone the field in the Newcastle United Man United Banked Everton to beat Notts Forest, Arsenal to beat Wolves, Brentford to avoid defeat at home against Luton Town, gone for Burnley to beat Sheffield United, the Field and the Hull City versus Watford fixture, Ipswich Town to be too good at home against Coventry City. Second page, Leeds United win and draw against Middlesbrough, Sunderland win and draw at Millwall, Plymouth Argyle to avoid defeat at home against Stoke City, and 3 bankers, Blackburn Rovers to beat Sheffield Wednesday, Southampton to beat Cardiff, and Swansea to beat Huddersfield Town, 288.
Budgie's best bets.
Yeah, Paul, a couple of good things,
Give
but
me your logic.
Paul, I'm going Arsenal to beat Wolves and over 2.5 goals. I'm going Man City to beat Spurs and over 3.5 goals, and Liverpool to beat Fulham and both teams to score no. That was 29-10, Paul. I think that's the best value bet of the weekend. I see 3-4-0 to Liverpool, so 3,300 to 200.
Okay.
Paul, Premiership team goals, I'm going Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City all to score over 2.5 goals, and Everton to score over 1.5 goals, 3,700 to 200.
Championship.
Onto the championship, I'm going Southampton to beat Cardiff City and both teams to score yes, and over 2.5 goals into Birmingham City, Rotherham, Plymouth, Stoke City, and Bristol City, Norwich City, 3,400 to 200. I've done the team goals only because the both teams to score odds are just getting reduced like you cannot believe. 5 to 10, we can't do that. So I've gone Preston, Birmingham City, Blackburn Rovers, and Plymouth Argyle, all to score over 1.5 goals, 3,000 to 200. On to Spain, I'm going Athletic Bilbao to beat Rayo Vallecano, over 2.5 goals, and both teams to score no in the Real Madrid-Granada game, and then both teams to score Las Palmas Getafe and Barcelona Atletico Madrid, 3,400 to 200.
King.
And I Collis King 6 or Nixa. I had to throw a team bigger than even money, so I've thrown Everton to beat Forest, Liverpool to beat Fulham, Man City to beat Spurs, Southampton to beat Cardiff City, Athletic Bilbao to beat Rayo Vallecano, and Real Madrid to beat Granada, 2,500 to 200.
Very good, Budge. I like those bets. One worries me a little bit, Everton. That's my worry, but let's hope you're right. Another worry, obviously, is Man City. But Budge, that's good. So we're rolling in both competitions, last one standing. And until next time, stay on side.